I've tried to think of a video. Couldn't decide on. I had I think like five of them. I tried to make just now about like three other attempts at videos. I give up. I couldn't think of what to do, and I was just constantly no, this feels too rushed. Feels too rushed. No, no, no. So screw it. I'm just gonna have to say this. My video is gonna be a bit on the late side. I do apologize. I thought I would have a decision made by now. I do not. I still have like five different ideas rummaging around through my head. So sadly, my opinion video is gonna be next week, and I do apologize for that. I really do. It doesn't help that it's not like I can really like slap in a review here recently because I think like two or three games that I've rented in a row, I just wasn't able to finish them. Not because they were inherently bad games, just none of them really meshed with me well enough to the point of where I felt like continuing them, not because of badness or anything like that. In fact, it's actually, when it comes to bad video games, I've managed to, for the last three rentals and games I've downloaded so far, I've been able to dodge some pretty decent bullets. Most of the games I've played that I hugely disliked over on Game Pass, thankfully, most of the reasons I disliked them was just these games didn't feel right on the controller I was using. Uh, some games just felt like they were. There was like one game where it's like you should have just been on PC, or you should be. If someone has one, you should be using it with a keyboard and mouse setup and not really a controller. Just felt bad. Now, so like I said, because of that whole, I haven't really been able to finish any of the games I've really rented so far because they just didn't feel quite right. Like there are games where it's like a good or bad, I can make it work, I can finish it, but it's just like these specific games. It's like you're not bad games, but I'm not interested enough to finish, which sucks. Um, so sadly, it hasn't really been very eventful for me when it comes to video games right now. So the best thing I can do is try and slap something together based off of something else I have experience with or do. Uh, so I figured I'd do some light talking about some sword stuff right about now. Yeah, see, the swords that I've in my past videos that you've seen out and about, those blades some of them I've actually practiced with, some of them I've actually tried to use. I actually do practice using because I actually am a self-taught and self-trained person who uses a blade. Now, I'm going to tell you a little things. One, I should not be your source for proper gauges of anything really. Do not ever once think that I am some sword master because I will laugh at you till my spleen explodes. Like, we're talking hunched over, pointing at you levels of laugh at you. If you ever claim I am a master of anything, I am, though, experienced just enough in both dual wielding to a point of where I can kind of use that as my gauge. I'm going to shatter an illusion here and now. This is a very big illusion that we all have, especially people who are practicing it at first have. They're under the impression that either what you see in anime is your gauge of your skill level, which is wrong, radically wrong, or they're thinking that that's how a master dual wielder actually is. And the answer is no. You see, actual dual wielding on the higher and higher levels, I can't say too terribly much for about a master, an expert. I can only talk about from my actual experience level, which is low intermediate, is my overall skill level. So I can talk to you from there. And from there, what I've learned is that the anime and even many video games version of dual wielding is crap. Not true. Lie. Very big lie. Very ugly lie. In reality, dual wielding from the intermediate ceases to look even remotely or a tenth like most any anime you ever see. And it starts to take on something more different depending on which of the routes you go. Now, there are two very well known routes. There's the route of utilizing dance. There are some movies that have done that pretty faithfully. There's one on top of my head, but I can never remember the name of it, which pisses me off to this day. But basically, there is cases of dual wielding where instead of becoming faster, the wrong way as I call it, the anime way, they instead utilize stuff like dancing and tempos to try and throw off the opposition. This is a very real style. Now, I didn't go down that route because of two reasons. One, my tempo sucks. Two, I have two left feet. So yeah, I didn't go that route. I can't talk any further on that route. The route I decided to go down is the secondary route, which is the utilizing of other styles incorporated with dual wielding. In other words, instead of, say, learning to dance and learning tempos, which would have taken me forever, and I had no money, so couldn't even do that, even if I wanted to. I also don't have money, so I can't do the other thing that would also make the second step easier. But basically, instead of learning to dance or the terrible anime method of just get faster, instead I was taking other styles that exist and merging them with my dual wielding. Now, in the case of myself, because that's all I can really talk about, in my case, I decided to aim for two specific other styles and merged them with dual wielding. Now, the thing is when you're merging styles, something you have to keep in mind is how does this match up with yourself, the type of blades you use, your overall stance, so on and so on. Ultimately, after doing much research into the other stylings, I finally just decided to go for these two specifically because in my head, they sounded like a pretty effective and efficient combination before we even include dual wielding. And that is that of fencing and kendo. Now, anyone who tells you I am a master of anything, like I said, is completely talking out their butt. They are. They know. If we're being generous, I am low intermediate. All right, that's generous. All right, no, I have still tons to learn. Still, all right, and I've been practicing the sword since I was could damn well hold a stick, and I still have tons to learn. Okay, I have tons more to learn, and I'm gonna be learning, especially now that I've gone this path. And it's not gonna get easier over time, mind you, because there's no one who can really teach me. Not in dual wielding, not on this three-sided fencing, kendo, dual wielding mixture that I'm doing. No one can teach me truly. And what's more is anyone who could, even if there was a fencing school near me or a kendo school near me, I'm broke. Flat broke. I even just looked at my bank account today and I wanted to cry. I'm that level of broke. I miss a job. I miss job. When it comes down to it, though, no one can truly teach me. It's a difficult idea. Here's the thing is this probably wouldn't be as difficult if I could afford a fencing teacher or a kendo teacher. The entire idea of merging these things would be easier than at least just by a tad. If I could afford a fencing and kendo teacher, it'd be even easier still. The problem is, though, is I don't have that kind of money to afford that kind of thing. So ultimately, it's me watching videos, watching others perform, do the fencing and the kendo, and I have to try and pull from what I see. And that's a lot harder than just being told by someone who's already master, do this. It also makes growth so much slower because now the only way for me to grow is for me to catch the problem, then figure out a way to fix the problem, then fix the problem. If you have someone who's a master, they can point out to you where your mistake is. They can tell you, okay, try this, do this. They can correct you where you need to be corrected. By teaching myself, I've made the job 10 times harder, made growth 10 times harder. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this is the right way to learn anything. If you ever hear that, that means I've been freaking replaced by a synth. Save me, please. Okay? I've taken probably the most difficult and can only be easier if you've got money for it type method, and I'm trying to make it work even though it shouldn't. It's harder by tons, too much. So, and it also makes learning take so much more time. Whereas it's going to take me multiple years just to learn how to do small corrections in my posture. Someone else is going to get that same lesson and be able to make that fix and profit off that fix in a tenth or less the time. That's kind of the whole thing. Is even as I was talking to my girl and I don't even remember how we got onto the topic. We were talking about how we want our kids to learn stuff. Like I think I'm the one who started off by saying like I would like for my kids to learn how to defend themselves, and she thought I was meaning like karate, and I'm like I'm more just mean like I want my kids to learn how to use guns because that's going to be a thing that's in the real world. That's always going to be a thing. That's probably going to be a problem no matter what, no matter when. I want my kids to know to understand, and I kind of want them to learn more. I want them to not only learn how to deal with guns, how to handle if something like that happens. I also want my kids to have other types of stuff. I want my kids to be able to defend themselves, whether they're armed or unarmed. Is kind of what I want for them. I want them, and I don't want to have to be. I am overprotective. I can't lie. My little sister was a great example of that. I am way overprotective to a definitely toxic state. I admit this. It's a flaw in myself, but the thing is I think personally for my kids, I would be 10 times worse. Like, I'm pretty sure my kids are going to hate my ass. They're going to hate me. To try and mitigate that, I would want my kids, though, to kind of learn how to defend themselves. You know, learning how to use guns, how to disassemble a gun borderline in their own hands if they should be able to get the gun away from somebody. Learn how to fight when armed and unarmed, stuff like that. I want them to have that safety net. Now, that's just to make it so that this way, one, I don't have to be as overprotective to them as I was for my little sister. I don't have to be that guy. So I want my kids to kind of learn how to, protect themselves. And honestly, even my girl says, well, why don't they learn how to use a blade from you? My first response was no, 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 bad idea, no, 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 very bad idea, nope, no, hard pass, no, nope, denied, Capisca denied, I lost my mind saying no as many different ways as I could. I even started breaking out other languages. Nai, niet, nada, nine! Oh, hell no! I lost my mind. But basically, I was just like, it is a bad idea, because the method I took to get where I'm at took so much longer than it should have. Took way more effort than it should have. Had more bruises than it should have. It was more trial and error than it should have been. I simply told her, in the time rate it took me to arrive at where I'm at, someone else has already arrived at expert because they had someone who was already a master help them. That's the thing with dual wielding. That's the thing with going this specific method of dual wielding, is it takes way too long. It is far too much effort. It is tons of just blindfolding yourself and hoping you don't fall on your butt. It's tons of just guesswork to the point of being absolutely maddening. And I don't want that for my kids. I don't want them to have to fumble around to try and find the path. Alright, I just want them to have someone who's already a master be able to help them, to help teach them, direct them, advise them. I want them to have that kind of tool system that I just don't. And I could do tons more sword videos, sure I could, but between the fact I am not a master swordsman by any stretch of any imagination at all, the thing is that I'm also limited in my knowledge and experience because instead of having tons of experience with multitudes of styles or having proper training, instead I'm just a dude who had to teach himself because he was too broke. And I don't want my kids to have to do that option either. Especially since, like I said, doing this route, I've experienced it, how frustrating it can be to teach yourself how to use a blade. It is extremely frustrating and time consuming, and by the time you've reached intermediate, someone has already reached expert by then, which can be kind of frustrating to know that your method, the way you have to learn, is so slow that other people of the same age, or might even be slightly younger than you, are already hitting those higher and higher levels, who are already at expert, who already know how to do things exceptionally well. And that can be a bit frustrating. It can. That's just a fact. And I think just honestly, when it comes to learning how to do something like using a sword or pretty much anything, it is better to go with a more not controlled but held styles that are already existing, where there are already masters who already have been trained every single thing that needs to be done, for example. It is far more productive and just a better bet to go with those methods. And I would want my kids to prosper from those methods. The only reason I went down this road is because broke. Extremely, extremely broke. I don't want them to have to go through that method. I don't want them to have to teach themselves, struggle for as long as I did till I found a path. I'd rather them just already have a path already there, already paved, it's already leveled, it's already probably got some trees at the other end or some shiz, alright? It's set. I want them to have that. And honestly, like I said, I could do sword videos. I don't feel like I myself am skilled enough. I don't feel like I'm the best qualified to answer many of the things. All I can really talk about is dual wielding and trying to help clear up whatever misunderstandings I can. So yeah. Now probably what you should expect is whenever I don't really know what opinion video to do, whenever I don't have a review I can make, maybe I'll probably do one of two things. I'll either randomly live stream out of nowhere, or I'll start talking about swords out of nowhere. Who knows which? We'll leave it to future title. It's that fool's problem. I hope you guys found this video kind of interesting, even though it's not what was supposed to have been happening today. I'll talk to you guys next week. Hopefully by then I finally have an opinion video decided upon. Hopefully if I don't have that, I'll at least have a review by then. I hope. See ya.